Okay. Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, May 8th. The time is 7:01, and this council session is now in session. And could you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Can we have the roll call, please, clerk?
Councilmember Brescher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel. Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Present.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Here.
Okay. Adequate notice, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the Annual Notice Sentinel Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Sentinel, and Desi Talk and News India Times on December 12th, 2023, and posted in Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Okay. For Council President remarks, we are adding Resolution 230-052024, and this is a resolution that, or this is actually a proclamation that I'll have the clerk read.
Whereas emergency medical service is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 days, 7 days a week, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. Whereas emergency medical service has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And whereas emergency services consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers. And whereas the members of emergency service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Service Week. And now therefore be proclaimed that the Mayor and Township Council of Edison, in recognition of this event, do hereby declare the week of May 19th through the May 25th as Emergency Medical Service Week. The 50th anniversary of EMS Week theme is EMS Week, honoring our past, forgiving our future. The mayor and the council of the township will encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
Okay. I'd like to open it up for public comment to this resolution, proclamation. Ms. Wilkie?
Lois Wolke, 10 Peak Road. I want to personally thank them. I personally haven't had to use them, but my mom was up here from Florida, and she had a problem, and they were here immediately. And when my son was out in Sag Harbor, Long Island, and fell from the second floor of a motel, they were willing to come all the way from Edison after he was discharged from the hospital to bring him back. So that I did personally have to use them now that I think about it, back in 1973. So thank you all, guys and women, and I appreciate your service.
Thank you, Lois. Anyone else? Okay, Joyce?
Ship Freeman. I really love to thank them for their service and their energy and what they do for our community, because my husband had fell out at one time, and I'm not that. Even though you're trained for CPR, you have run into a problem when it's somebody in your family. So I would like to thank you guys for all you do and all you stand for, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion?
Okay. Second?
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close by Councilman Pointer, motion seconded by Councilman Patil. Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Okay, thank you. Second?
Second.
All right, motion to adopt by Councilman Patil and seconded by Councilman Pointer. Can we get council comments, yes. Any council comments to this resolution?
Council President,
Yes.
being a volunteering organization for a long time in Edison, we have seen EMS, which is officially Edison EMS. Proud to have your service in Edison. Thank you for volunteering. And you are the integral part of Edison society. You have saved hundreds and thousands of lives in Edison, so you are the asset. And I hope this council recognize through this proclamation, even though this is a proclamation, but this week when we are celebrating EMS week, hopefully this council and the mayor recognize the importance of EMS service, and we help you financially to strengthen the organization and have more outreach within the community. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patil. Anyone else?
Yes, Council President.
Yes.
I just want to thank you for all you do and the time you take away from your families and the sacrifice you put forward to volunteer. As a former squad member of Squad 1, I trained as an EMT because of you. I learned a lot of great things raising a son at a young age, and I've also had the chance to see so many of you grow up through the ranks, and it's an appreciation of what you do, and there's no price to put on the work that you do for us and how it's needed. And again, the time and sacrifice, and to thank your family members for putting up with all the work you do for others for free. And also want to recognize our female firefighter in the back, proud to one of our first ever. And I thank this administration for recognizing team building and also recognizing the work that you do. And I'm truly thankful. I also just want to do a small shout out to a gentleman who just passed away, Mr. Byers, Ed Byers. If we all know him in the past and the thousands of calls he's answered. Last week he passed away, and he was certainly someone to be look up to, and his whole entire family volunteered, and his commitment is certainly to be recognized. And don't forget Thelma. Back in the day, Thelma was something else. If we remember her, she was out there, thousands of calls. Quite amazing service. Thank you very much.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, Councilman Pointer, yeah.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Likewise, I just want to say thank you for all of the service that you guys do, the many volunteer hours that you guys put in. I know a lot of the focus is on the dispatch portion. I also just wanted to call out what you guys do for the community, whether particularly in letting the community use your facilities for events. Many people may not know it, but like the EMS will help out with like Girl Scouts. They'll help out with in Clara Barton, the Neighborhood Preservation Committee, for them to have a space to have meetings. So not only in terms of helping on the health aspect, the assistance in terms of assisting on the general community aspect, I think should definitely be recognized. So again, thank you for your service. Thank you, Council Vice President.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Council Vice President?
Yes, Councilman Brescher.
Yes. I'd like to echo my council colleagues' comments, because I think a lot of people don't understand our volunteers and the EMS and what they do. They're part of our community. Our councilman here said that he was part of it. You guys are part of it, but you loan your houses, you loan your facilities to our community. And that's something, I guess, that you can't put a price tag on, right? You can outsource a lot of things, but you can't outsource that community involvement. So I'd like to thank you guys personally for that. The rest of the EMS, that's also, and our firemen. I mean, I guess, unfortunately, I have to use both services. Not at the greatest point in my life, might I say. So I'd like to thank you all for your service. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, let me just add to what the other council members have said, that you all are amazing. And it's not just that you do your jobs so well, but it's what you put into the jobs that you do, that you care so much. And it occurs to me, just as we've been sitting here, it occurs to me that in the past, it might be, I'd hear ambulances go by. I live right off of Plainfield Road. I'd hear ambulances go by, and it would be like, oh, another ambulance. But now, my reaction is, thank goodness. And I am so grateful and so appreciative that those ambulances are there and they get to their destinations as quickly and as efficiently as they do. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we all celebrate you. Thank you. We're going for the roll call on this resolution.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Motion adopted. Okay. Going on with Council President remarks. I wanted to go back over on Monday during the Points of Light. I mentioned that I was wishing people a happy Greek Easter, and it was the Bukashevskis, Mark and Lisa, who emailed me to enlighten me to the fact that it's not just Greek Easter, that it's also Russian and Ukrainian Orthodox Easter. So I am hereby enlightened, and I will not make that mistake again. So I want to thank the Bukashevskis again for bringing that to my attention. Just a few. Oh, I'm sorry. Sure, what do we present?
Just want to recognize at least if they can come to the podium and someone wants to say
Yes,
something.
yes, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so are we asking them all to come up? Yes. Okay, so we're going to, I'm so sorry, I sped ahead with that. So could I have all of our EMS members come up and, so we can make this presentation? Thank you so much. Come on up.
I'll just go down and do it. Let's all go down there. We should all go down
Here you go, Marco. In case anybody wants to speak. If
Okay.
anybody-
Okay, so we have read the resolution, and we don't need to read it again. I would like to offer this microphone to anybody who might like to speak on behalf of the wonderful work you do. Anyone? All right. Chief Toth.
I just want to thank everybody here. I could speak on behalf of the fire department. I'm proud of the men and women there. They're not only firefighters, but they respond to emergencies alongside, whether it's JFK, at Hackensack or Edison volunteer EMS. Behind the scenes, you don't see the difference that these men and women make, but I'm very proud of my fire department, police department, everybody working together makes a difference.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'm sorry? Oh, okay. We have a photo. Okay. Yeah.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Was I supposed to give this? Okay, just some brief announcements. So tomorrow, just a reminder that tomorrow is the Edison Remembrance Ride, where the police who are going to be on the Unity Tour on Friday are going to be riding past the areas where both of our men in blue over the years, over these 100 years, were fallen. So at 11 a.m., they will be back here, and there will be a ceremony that will be at the public safety part of the complex. And so hope you can attend. It looks like the rain should hold off until that ceremony. Friday, May 10th is the actual Unity Ride. 7:30 a.m., they are going to be taking off from the Franklin Municipal Complex. So that's 7:30 a.m. I plan to be there. Saturday, May 11th, Town Hall parking lot, 8 a.m. to 12 noon is the e-cycle event. That's the recycling, right? Okay. For recycling of electronics, and I think electronics and computer things. May 12th, of course, is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all. The Edison Metuchen Bike Tour, Sunday, May 19th, 8 a.m. is registration, and it starts at 9 a.m. at the Municipal Building. And the people who I ran with in 2021, which would be Councilman Pointer, Council President Patil, and I are going to be cycling together on that day. We have Saturday, May 25th is the Memorial Day Parade. On May 20th through October, Farmers Market at Swales Park, Farmers Market. We're back with the Farmers Market, 64 Parkway, Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Finally, Monday, May 27th at 11:45 a.m. is the Memorial Day flag raising at Oak Tree Pond Park. And that is the end of my council remarks. We go on with the agenda. Number 5, the calendar year 2024 municipal and solid waste budget. Could I get a motion to introduce? Anyone?
Motion to introduce?
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Pointer, and who was second?
It was Shmuel. Okay.
Council President?
Any council comments?
Yes, I on the solid waste budget, it's a two-pronged thing here. I noticed that we had, I think it was $1.7 million in surplus last year, but we're only showing $300,000 this year. And I think we should get an explanation.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Councilman Brescher.
I'm sorry.
We're on the municipal budget first.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Comments on the municipal budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that. Any comments on the municipal and solid waste budget?
Well, no, they're separately, going to both of them separately.
Oh, or,
On the municipal budget right now.
right, okay. So any comments on the municipal waste budget?
I have a lot of questions, but I believe that I'm going to sit down with the business administrator. She told me she'd give me some time to review some of the questions I have.
Okay, all right. We had the motion to,
Council President, I have a question.
okay, all right.
Council President, I have the question there, do we know the public hearing date of municipal budget?
Don't know yet, we have to wait to the state.
We do not know yet because it needs to be advertised and there's 28 days. So going under the, I will make a estimation the second meeting in June.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other council comments on the municipal budget? Okay, all right. Didn't we just do that?
Yes,
We
I
did,
know.
okay. All right, so can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes, for introduction.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay, we move on to the motion to introduce the solid waste budget. And looking for, we need a motion to introduce.
Motion to introduce?
Second.
Okay, motion introduced by Councilman Coyle, second by Councilman Pointer. Council comments?
Yes, and the two are tied together. So when I looked at that budget, I think it was $1.7 million that we had in surplus last year, and I think we're showing $300,000 this year. And I was wondering why that would be. I understand this is an introduction, and I believe we can modify things if need be. But my concern comes to the next question, which is, so we have a surplus of $1.7 million last year, and we're only showing $300,000 this year. So what would that be? But then we're looking for, I think, $1.4 million for a bond for the same entity. So if you were to end up being off in your numbers, or if we looked at them a little differently, and you were to end up having $1.4 million in surplus, then we wouldn't need to do the bond.
So let me just explain. So we are using only 300,000. It's not that we only have 300,000 in surplus for the solid waste. So it's actually the reverse.
Okay, so that goes back to, so we have $1.7 million in surplus, right? And we're going to bond, okay.
No, it's actually the reverse. We have more in surplus, and I can provide that to you. What's anticipated is what we're using for the budget.
Right, okay. But That's where my question is we have money that we have in for a surplus, yet we're going to bond for $1.4 million on the bond ordinance. And the question is, why wouldn't we use the money to, that we have in surplus to do that, as opposed to finance a bond to pay the interest and all that over some time? So the two are tied together. I know we're not talking about, we didn't get to the bond yet, but they're tied together. So I'm okay with this, I guess, for introduction, but then I have an issue with the bond until we can sort through the budgetary portion of it. That's all. Thank you, Council President.
Any other council comments? Okay, seeing none. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes for introduction.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Adopted for introduction, yes. Okay, we move to number 6, the approval of the minutes. Can we get a motion to approve?
Council President,
Yes.
I just need to check the attendance. I think I was absent in one of the meeting.
December 27th.
Yes,
Perfect.
and I would have abstained from December 13th. I was absent.
December 13th?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any other abstentions?
Vice President, I would assume that I have to abstain from
I don't remember.
December 27th, 13th, and the 11th.
Well, right, you weren't on council
Wasn't
then.
here.
Yeah. You were certainly at reorg, so we know that.
December 27th, I'm going to have to abstain too.
Okay. All right. Any other abstentions? Okay. Seeing no other abstentions, motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Can I get a second?
I seconded except December 27.
What was that?
I second
27.
except.
Oh, okay, right, okay. Is that all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Number 7, unfinished business. Ordinances for further consideration, public hearing, and final adoption. Clerk, can you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending Chapter 37 zoning by amending the following subsections: 37-62, sign regulations to add language pertaining to off-premise billboard guidelines.
Okay, thank you. Open to public comments about this particular ordinance, 2213. Seeing none, could I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. Motion to close by Councilman Coyle, second by Councilman Patil. Can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay, these are for further consideration, or is this just
This is the final.
the final? Okay, all right. And any council comments on this ordinance?
Council President? Or-
Yes.
Is it Council President or
don't
Council
know.
Vice President on this?
Council President today.
Council
Okay.
President, Madam President. I just wanted to, again, say thank you to the subcommittee for all their hard work in assisting and putting this together. I want to say thank you to our legal team for their advice and diligence in working with the committee to put this together, and the administration for providing a lot of information as well for us to go on. These regulations are substantially more defined than what is currently on our books. At the end of the day, there will be billboard applications, but it's on us to try to set the environment to best protect the residents of this township. And I think that this ordinance is a good step in doing so. So I hope that we have the support tonight for it to pass. And that's it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Motion is adopted, or ordinance is adopted. Clerk, could you please read 2214?
Ordinance amending Chapter 25, Section 11.1C, waivers to provide a reduced tree fund contribution to certain residential properties, and amending Chapter 25, Section 13, tree fund to designate projects that are eligible for tree fund expenditures.
Okay. Any public comments on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none. Can we get a motion to close public comment?
Motion to close the public portion or public comment?
Get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. And where are we here? Council, so it's motion to, yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is for, now we have the motion to adopt. Can I get a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Okay,
Seconded.
thank you.
Second by Patil.
Yes, okay. Any council comments to this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. Now we go on to number 8, new business proposed ordinances, public hearing set down for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Clerk, can you read this ordinance?
Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit to establish a cap bank.
Okay. There's no public, right, okay. Can we get a motion to introduce?
Council President. I move this ordinance to be passed on first reading, published according to the law for further consideration, and public hearing set down for May 22nd.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Shmuel. Second?
Second.
Okay, and a second by Councilman Pointer. Yeah, we got that. All right, any council comments? Seeing none, can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes, to introduce.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes to introduce.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, what was previously on the agenda, that's ordinances 2220-2024 and ordinance 2221-2024 are being removed from the agenda at this time. They will not be introduced. Okay. We do have ordinance 2222, and clerk, could you read that ordinance?
Ordinance adopting the redevelopment plan John Street and Thomas Place, Block 692.E, lots 8B, 9A, 12, 13, and 14 pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 48:12A-1.
Okay, can we get a motion to introduce? Someone?
Council President, I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearings set down for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. Can we get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilman Shmuel. Any council comments? Okay, seeing none, could we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes for introduction.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. Clerk, can you read the ordinance for ordinance 2223?
An ordinance amending Chapter 14, Building and Construction by amending Section 14-7, Electric Vehicle Charging Stations in new and modified developments requirement.
Okay, can we get a motion to introduce?
Council President, I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration and public hearing set down for Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. Can we get a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, for Councilman Patil. Are there any council comments? Okay, seeing none, can we get a roll call?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes for introduction.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay. We move to number 9, public comment on the resolutions. This would be the resolutions only. And so who would like to speak on the resolutions? Okay, Charlie? And just if you can refer to which resolution that you're speaking of.
Yeah, absolutely. Good evening once again. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. I want to ask about R229-052024. This is a award for professional services contract with Vision Media Marketing, Inc. I wanted to ask what the township gets for the $5,000 a month cost.
Okay, I'm going to turn this to the BA.
Sure, Vision Media does our public relations announcements, including the Illuminator.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I have a concern because I understand that this firm also represents or represented the campaign for the mayor. Is that correct?
Sonia, do you have an answer for that?
I don't handle that affair, just for the township.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the source of the concern is coming at it as a reporter. I could imagine situations where there's a conflict between, how to handle or promote, whatever issues are coming up in the township. And if I recall correctly, I think we had a similar situation in Edison before with Jaffe Communications, right? Jaffe Communications used to do this kind of work for the township. And I believe at the same time, they were also doing political work in the township. And, you don't have to be terribly creative to understand how that could, put people in a difficult spot. And I guess that's the concern here is I wanted to understand, that relationship with the mayor and his campaign, whether that's something that was from the past or going to be continuing. Does it continue? I will note, in the article I published on Monday that Vision Media, did take my phone call, but then they didn't answer my questions that I emailed them about, who they were working for here. And the reason I was going to them, the only reason I knew they were involved was because I looked at the email logs I got from the Oprah request and saw that, this firm was sending the mayor an email on the topic of the immigrant bus situation. So I'm curious, like, for instance, was that done in their capacity representing the mayor, or were they representing the township? And, I can see more situations coming up if there's an election coming up where there would be conflicts. And so I would caution you that, setting ourselves up to be in that kind of situation could have problems. And I just would like to, continue to express an interest in learning more about this firm and what they're doing. I hope maybe they'll get back to my questions eventually, but still haven't heard back. So that's all on this resolution. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay. Anyone else? Any comments on the resolutions? Joel?
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. I have to echo Mr. Cradaville's concerns about Vision Media Marketing. The fact is, it is a political communications consulting firm, and they present themselves on their website. They present themselves to the political community as a political consulting firm. Their main job is to get people elected and reelected, and that's all very well and good. But the taxpayers of Edison should not be paying for a reelection campaign for the mayor and members of the council. There are, I'm sure, plenty of corporate communications specialists out there that could do a bang-up job of helping Edison get its message out to the public. Frankly, the people in-house at this point have been there long enough. They should be capable of communicating effectively with the public. If they're not, you have to wonder if we have the right people in-house. And the Illuminator really continues to be basically a compendium of ribbon-cutting ceremonies and photo ops. It's not truly an informative newsletter comparable to what other communities have. If you look at neighboring communities, their websites, it's like a truly informative community newsletter. That's not what Edison has, and it's not what we should be paying for as taxpayers. I saw that at the Monday work session, there was some discussion that maybe the Illuminator would be improved if council members could also add their own releases, but that only transforms it into a re-election vehicle, not just for the mayor, but for certain council people, and that doesn't improve the situation. So I would suggest that that particular resolution be pulled for a separate vote and voted down. Thank you.
Let me just comment, Joel, that actually, when I spoke to the mayor, what we were talking about in terms of council input would have to do with committees and commissions, the work that's being done on committees and commissions. And so that would talk about the work of this body. It's not highlighting any one person. It would be highlighting various commissions and committees.
Right. But a quarterly glossy newsletter probably is still not the most effective way of getting detailed information like that out to the public. So there should really be some serious reconsideration as to whether Vision Media is the appropriate firm to be guiding the township's public relations when the firm really is out there for the purpose of getting people elected and reelected. And it's an inappropriate mixture of the public governmental and the purely political. So find someone that specializes in corporate communications, something of that nature, and then we can alleviate these concerns of using public money for political campaigns. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. We have a young lady, maroon. Hi. Name and address, please.
Hi, Nina Carlson, 13 Teaberry Drive. I'm going to sort of piggyback on the comments about this resolution. Not actually why I'm here, but I'm intrigued. And I have a couple of things to say that might be of interest, I think. Former community engagement coordinator up at the city of Jersey City, and most recently I've worked in a GovTech role, kind of helping municipalities work on communications and community engagement. And I'm just curious whether this partnership or contract, however you want to describe it, is the most effective way to make residents aware of and involve them in the ongoings of municipal operations. I just wonder sort of, one, what the process was in selecting this vendor. I don't know if there was an RFP. I know that RFPs can be a lot of work, having run one myself in prior roles, so I'm hesitant to put more work on anybody, but I do think that perhaps if there is some skepticism from residents as far as the integrity of this proposed partnership, it may be a worthwhile endeavor, even if the purchasing threshold is below state law. Furthermore, there are other digital tools that have come about in the last few years that may be of interest that require actually very little manpower. And I'm not here to sell anything. I don't work for anyone anymore, but I'm just here to kind of raise awareness because there are platforms that are very much two-way, I think like a Citizen Lab or a Social Pinpoint, that allow residents to engage with their departments, with their council members, however partisan or nonpartisan you want to make it. Usually they're meant to inform residents on what's going on in a way that's fun and engaging, and not everybody can make it to a council meeting. Not everybody checks their email, to be fair, and if we can create a centralized hub using the tools that are available, I think that'd be pretty engaging for residents. So I guess the 2 points that I'm here to make are that, like, one, I want to ensure that all available tools have been considered. Perhaps this may be a bit of a, there may be better options that are either more inexpensive or a little bit more transparent in providing insight. And also, if this can be postponed, I think it would be worthwhile at least to get buy-in from residents to be assured that there is no crossover between receiving, political communications and municipal communications. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sonia, any light you can shed on what this young woman has put out there?
Is there a specific question?
Well, in terms of other possible, I think she was talking about other possible tools, the other possible media in being able to get the news out, other than something that has had a political arm and also has this information arm for the public.
Sure. So the differentiation between what Vision Media does is the public relations, the communications aspect of information that we are putting out versus tools, as the speaker mentioned. There are several platforms that provide tools to engage with citizens. It could be through something done through SurveyMonkey, a GovConnect, something like to that effect. So there are tools that we can use to facilitate to grab information. I'm very familiar with those. However, it still does not project the communications we're trying to get out to the residents.
Okay. How long have we had Vision Media under contract?
Last 2 years.
Last 2 years? Was there something that preceded them?
I'm sorry, there's some background noise, so I can certainly find out exactly what the communications are, if any council members have that information. Mr. Brescher looks like he wants to.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can enlighten you. Yes, Vision Media is basically, it's a political tool that's being hidden under the guise of, to get information out to prop up candidates. Before that, we had Jaffe Communications with the previous mayor. I disagree with him on it, and I disagree with this mayor on this, right? It shouldn't be, they shouldn't do anything with campaigns. They should just work strictly for the township. And I don't know that we even need the glossy thing, you know? The whole black and white thing might be a little bit easier, even if it saves us a couple dollars. But then again, I complain about a couple dollars, and we approve web design when the Board of Ed did it for $40,000, but we did, I think, 90, which baffles my mind. But yes, so both mayors have used it, and they did their political campaigns, and they did this. Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments about the proposed resolutions? Joyce?
Joy Ship, 41. I'm like piggybacking on what the young lady has said, because I've gone to other communities and I've read their paperwork, and some other communities actually have the business people paying for it. It doesn't come out of their money. Business people who want their businesses put forth, and it gives like a lot of good information. And the problem I had with this is that you send out a rah-rah paper, but you won't even let the people see the TV show. They gotta, well, let me see, I guess if it's on tonight, is it on at 10:30 or whatever? So people are getting, they're not getting a full spectrum of what really actually goes on. All they're seeing is ribbon cutting and self-promotion. And I have issues with that, with self-promotion at all. So, and also, I see on here another 239, another change order with the Allstate. What happened with that change order? I'm just always curious about change orders.
Okay, Sonia?
Sure, that's for the flooring throughout the town hall building and several buildings, so there was just that was a change order reflecting that.
Why, I'm just trying to figure out, why did the change order come about?
Again, to you, Sonia.
Sure, there's some anticipated flooring that was not projected, so that's why it's added in some of the rooms.
Okay.
I just say we always got change orders, and we always got an extra way of paying people extra after they have their business. It's something wrong with that. And I would like to, on 243, talking about Walter Stoschel as a resident of the Dismal Swamp Commission, and we all know that Walter Stoschel is outstanding. And I've been here with Walter Stoschel, Jane Townsend, Spiegel, and a bunch of other pioneers that was here that were actually concerned about Dismal Swamp. They were actually concerned about open space. They were actually concerned about environmental, and they filled up these rooms each and every night for that. And I see a lot of that slipping away. So I'm hoping that Walter Stoschel can help us out and take us to a better place than we are right now with that. Thank you.
Not only is Walter Stoschel outstanding, but he's sitting right here. So, all right. And speaking of Walter Stoschel, Walter, come on up.
Walt Stoschel, 211 Oak Tree Road, a man outstanding in his field in the Dismal Swamp. On 243, I would like to thank the mayor and the administration for reappointing me to the Peter J. Barnes Wildlife Preserve Commission, also known as the Dismal Swamp Commission. I look forward to the council's positive consent. In the 1980s, the Dismal Swamp was threatened with thousands of units of housing, commercial and industrial development, and a major truck route was planned through the swamp. At that time, Jane Townsend and 4 other women organized Save Our Swamp to oppose these developments. Their fight reduced the number of units to just over 1,000, and hundreds of acres of land was preserved. However, there was more to do. Assemblyman Peter Barnes recognized this. He knew there were hundreds of acres of land in the 3 communities that could be developed. He was successful in getting the Dismal Swamp Commission created, bringing together the environmentalists and representatives from the 3 communities and the county to work together to preserve and enhance this resource. Sadly, Peter Barnes passed away in early 2021, and the legislature renamed the preserve and the commission to honor him in late 2021. When I was appointed to the commission, I took the place of Jane Talisman, who passed away in 2013. All my actions on the commission are guided by their memory. During the past 2 years, the commission worked together to adopt the meets and bounds description of the preserve and the master plan, which was required by the law. We also placed signs at various locations to identify the property as the Barnes Preserve. We worked with Edison, South Plainfield, and the County Parks Department to mark the first long trail across the northern end of the preserve. This spring, we did a walk along this red trail with artists from Metuchen. We had 35 people on the walk and 25 other people doing cleanups along the trail. I look forward to working with my fellow commissioners on marking more trails, cleaning up more trash, and working on the environmental restoration of the 778 acres of the Barnes Preserve. Thank you.
Mary Ann?
Good evening, Mary Ann Hennessy, Carmelo Drive. I would like to echo everything that everybody has said about the media. I had an experience with the previous media people and also with a misunderstanding in the town with what I had requested. I had put in an Oprah request way back then, prior to the current business administrator, asking for a list, month by month by month, what Jaffe did to get the $5,000. I got nothing more than a copy of their contract for January through December, and I was specific. I asked for each and every month, so nobody could say I didn't ask the right way. My concern is, I think, who does this media report to?
Sonia?
The administration.
Who in the administration?
Sonia?
That would be mayor's office, myself, so our entire office.
Okay, I would appreciate that if you do this and you put these people in whom I'm objecting to, the same as everybody else did, that a report be required monthly that can come out to the citizens, whether it's on the website or whether it's written and we have to get it through you, the administration, or the clerk's office. Because I think we're entitled to know what they're doing for the money. Because, minor little thing, we had a market. And we used to have that market on Amboy Avenue, the farmer's market. And not once during the term of the farmer's market did Jaffe ever go out of their way to contact the local newspapers who have columns that list each town, each market, each day, each hour. We were never put there. Never showed up. And in the beginning, we had a very good market. It used to be behind one of the banks, and it was well attended. But it began to decrease because I don't think people knew about it at all. And Joe, I'm surprised because you're Amboy Avenue. People didn't know about that market because there's nothing in the newspaper. You go to Metuchen and you see the market in Metuchen. We're nowhere near that because people don't know to come to us. And it's extremely important that it get out there in any way, shape, or form other than being an anonymous issue. I had something else, and I can't remember what it was, because I'm a little nervous. I haven't been here in a long time. This is a generalized question that I really don't understand, and I don't know if it's the proper time to ask it. But what's a street opening? I mean, what is it utilized for? Can anybody tell me?
Councilman Patil?
Thank you. Street, again, unless you want to answer that, street opening is normally if there is, it depends on the situation. It could be street opening for new water line, could be for new gas line, could be for the road construction. If other utility company wants to dig your road, and that's where the permit comes in, road opening permit comes into play.
Thank you, because I see so many of these comments about street opening and have no idea what you're talking about in the
thank
law
you.
of street opening. May I also ask a question? How do I put it?
Is this to one of the resolutions?
Uh,
You can come back in public comment.
Right, I
Okay.
realize that, but what I wanted to ask is the 237, which is the resolution for the fire alarm inspection. What does that cover?
Okay. Sonia?
Sure. As I had stated, there's various buildings that it covers, including Town Hall, Woodbridge, and the Senior Center. There's a slew of buildings that it covers. What it does, it provides the maintenance for all of the firework.
Thank you very much. I also want to add that I feel that in the media coverage, I agree that, I hate to say it, and everybody uses it, and everybody goes, Woodbridge. Woodbridge puts out their notification, and it's paper. Nothing fancy, paper. I was fortunate to get it twice from a friend.
Speaker has 1 minute.
And it's what we need, that kind of notification. And if my time's up, I'll come back later on. But
No,
please,
you have a little bit less than a minute still.
okay, please. And as was said, that a lot of the town businesses contribute with ads, et cetera, and that helps pay the cost. I don't see why we do not look into something like that and attempt to duplicate it. Maybe not on as big a scale in the beginning until we get used to it and put it out there, but I think it would be important. It would be important for Mr. Coyle, you're with the Chamber of Commerce. You could be putting things out there for the Chamber of Commerce that somebody might pick it up and say, oh, I didn't realize they did this. Let me get a hold of the Chamber of Commerce. Just a suggestion.
Thank you, Marion. Lois?
Lois Wolke, Peak Road, Edison. I'd like to comment also on Resolution 229, Public Relations. I echo all the concerns of the previous speakers. And is this the only contract we would have had for public relations? I want to know if there were any others. And it seems like the mayor has a lot of staff. I was just wondering if anyone on his staff does any public relations work. And the reason I'm asking about that, everyone seems to remember Jaffe Communications as I do. And that was back in 2015. And Jaffe Communications, we could never understand what we were paying them for. We never saw anything in the paper or anything. And I did an Oprah to get all the invoices for Jaffe. And they were charging us and invoicing us months before they even had the contract. I tried to find out if we ever paid it or not. I never got a straight answer. Unfortunately, I cleaned my files not too long ago, and I threw out all the Jaffe Communications and paperwork. But we certainly didn't get our money's worth out of Jaffe, and I don't really know if we need this PR. I just got an email from the mayor. It's PR. It's PR for the mayor, as other people said. So I don't know what to say, but I don't think we need this company. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Anyone else comment on the resolutions? Christo?
Thank you. Am I recognized?
You are recognized.
Okay. Okay. So I'd like to speak for Resolution 229 because I believe it affected me. I believe it affected me in the past. But before that, you can Google Tiffany Henyard. You can see all the YouTube videos made about her. doing the very same exact thing that Mayor Sam Joshi's doing.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Christo, are you commenting on a resolution here?
I will. If you give me a few moments, you'll see how it pertains to
Okay.
the resolution.
Okay.
Exactly how it pertains. So with this, the situation with Tiffany Henyard, she was also using the marketing company. If you see the Silver Lake situation through the chair, Councilman Brescher, promises made, promises kept, where taxpayer funds used at that moment in time was visual, because we got to report it to the FBI. New Jersey, we're talking about New Jersey election laws being violated. Using taxpayer funds to promote yourself, that's what the FBI is investigating Tiffany Henyard for. $60,000 a year to this company to promote one person. It's like Nazi Germany, it's like Soviet, communist Russia, all over again. What's the mayor afraid of? Is it because of the recent migrant issue? It seems to me that this, through the chair to Councilman Brescher, that this media company's doing a hell of a good job, because if you would have seen what the cops said during the migrant issue, this whole place should be filled up. So they must be they must be doing something. In terms of the predator catcher case, I feel $60,000 a year through the chair to Councilman Brescher was used to slander me. Somebody who recorded somebody else who has a YouTube channel catching child predators, somehow this media company changed the narrative that I was luring sexual predators to town. Did this media company have something to do with it? Business administrator, did this media company have something to do with it? And now, if you look at your Facebook page, Councilwoman Margot Harris and Richard Brescher, I tagged you guys. They had the time to slander me for political reasons, yet I just put out 2 individuals charged with the manufacturing of child pornography here in South Edison, and no media company has got a hold of it. No one's talking about it. Does the $60,000 a year to this media company have something to do with it? Because now it's raising a lot of red flags to me. Here we have people manufacturing child pornography, and the person who's supposed to be the director of public safety is not warning the parents of Thomas Jefferson Middle School and Linden Law School that, hey, these 2 people were manufacturing child pornography. Did your children visit their home? Could they be victims of this? And he wants to call himself the public safety director? Absolutely disgusting. How much time do I have left?
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. I want to talk about the migrant issue.
No, I'm sorry, that's not.
I understand. Listen, she can talk when it's her time. I want to talk about how the migrant issue pertains to visual media marketing. You understand? So if we weren't paying this visual media marketing $60,000 a year, and more media people were notified about this event, yeah, people would be here to complain that, hey, yeah, one of the officers are right outside that dehumanized civilians on that day. So I'm going to ask you up here on the council, are you guys going to have anything to say to that officer who dehumanized civilians? Do all Hispanics drive around with kilos of cocaine? Is that why people aren't here? Because visual media marketing is paying for this to be hidden? Good job by Charlie Crowderville, New Brunswick today, by the way. Great job by having to do the lawsuit just to get something that should have been publicly accessible information through the chair to the lawyer. I'm very concerned, lawyer, because $60,000 a year to this media company. And what did you get? Me, a nobody, slandered in the media, who did a community service and ended up beating the charges anyway? And that's why the coward, the deputy chief or the chief is not here to answer my questions, because they don't want to update everyone how I beat those charges, because it was a complete bullshit case. And on the 13th, I'm going to stick to visual media marketing. Such a Nazi. Only a Nazi, communist, dictator would need something like this, which is a crime, which should be an ethics violation. I'm going to write this up. Should be an ethics violation to use taxpayer funds to promote yourself, which was done. Promises made, promises kept during the Silver Lake issue. You all saw the photos, Silver Lake. You understand? Did visual media marketing create something that violated New Jersey election laws, that violated federal law? If they're violating federal law, why should we continue to pay them $60,000 a year? Through the chair to the lawyer, this should be investigated. Are you going to investigate this? Are you going to Google Mayor Tiffany Henyard and see how her actions are very similar to Mayor Sam Joshi? And maybe you can better advise him how to avoid the criminal prosecution that will be coming his way for the many crimes that have been going on, which is why he has to pay the visual media marketing, the $60,000 a year to cover up all those crimes. How much time do I have left? 4 seconds? Jesus Christ is the truth.
Any other public comments on the resolutions? Okay, seeing none.
Motion to close the public portion.
Okay, going to get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All right, we move to number 10 for the proposed resolutions. Do we have anything to pull for a separate vote?
Of course. Do
Coun-
I
Councilman
actually
Brescher.
need to tell you which one? Okay, we'll formally call it 229.
Okay, all right, anything else?
That would be it.
Okay, any other resolutions to pull for separate vote?
I'm good with 229.
Okay, all right. All right, so we are going to be we're going to approve resolutions 225 through 228, and then 230 to 244. We did? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that we did, I'm sorry, we moved that up. Okay, 231 to 244. Okay. So can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda for those items?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay. And can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes. Okay, adopted. Okay, Councilman Brescher, 229.
Yes. I asked at the last meeting on Monday to get a list of any and all information that Vision Media put out. The reason was basically to assure the public that they're a legitimate company doing legitimate work for the township. Now, if you were to give me like one glossy for the whole year and they were getting $5,000 a month, I would come publicly and tell the public that I believe then the rest of the money is being saved for a campaign. Okay, that would be an opinion, but I would tell them that they're not getting the value for their money. If this company, Vision Media, is producing 4 flyers or whatever you want to call it a week, right, and they're getting $5,000 a month, then I'd say we're getting more than our fair share for it. But I didn't receive that yet. So, I think until this body gets to look at that in good conscience to verify that what we're getting from them has an actual intrinsic value, I would propose to table this. If there's a way for us to get that and for us all to look at it. I mean, just really to verify, to set the public, so they understand whether we're getting our value. So I'd like to propose a motion to table this.
Okay, all right, you're making a motion to table?
Yes.
Okay. All right, can I get a second?
I will second it, but I would want to make the comment. Yep.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Council President. Happy that this resolution is pulled for a separate vote. As we all know that this council has disagreed multiple times on the content of the mailer that goes out. This expensive mailer, and we have debated, yes, it's a good tool to reach out, but is that the right thing to do? And are we getting the return on investment? Is the message is reaching out to people? That's a question. And I have disagreed on the content itself. It's not really worth, yes, it's a glossy page. My number 2 point is, if this firm is involved in producing the political mailers, well, probably the entire council is in conflict. For the fact that, we have 3 council members who ran on mayor's ticket. Last year I ran. Again, it's the same company that was in place for the communication. If they have produced any political mailer, even for my election, I would not be comfortable for voting this resolution. And that's the reason I will say it's tabled.
Okay.
Council President.
Yes, Councilman
I
Coyle?
just want to comment, I will not be voting to table this. The Illuminator has been an excellent communication tool with the residents of Edison. I've had nothing but compliments about this Illuminator, and it's fact that it's an opportunity to create engagement with the residents, expressing what's been accomplished in this township. If you look over the years, the last 25 years, from mayors prior to today, this administration and mayor and council has accomplished a lot. And then this Illuminator expresses what's in there. You can't argue that fact. People walk up to me at events and tell me how much they like the Illuminator. It's a fact. It's a truth. And this is my opinion. And I've witnessed this, people walking up to me. It has a calendar of events. It talks about the accomplishments we've had in this community. It promotes public safety, police, fire, recreation, what's going on at the animal shelter, et cetera. It's one of the best things we've done in a long time. And it puts the communication on the map with the town. I heard from people who feel that $60,000 is a lot of money. Every spend we have is a lot of money when it comes to our budget. But if you look at having our own employee in town, a graphics artist that does this for a living, that person is not out there for $35,000 a year. That is a high-paid person to put together a graphic, to do press releases, et cetera. And a fully loaded employee costs another 40% on top of that. So you do the math of what we're getting for, if you take out the 40% from an employee, you know, we're paying about $26,000 for this. So in support of it, I think it's been a great communicator, and I think it's been working. And I'm only taking the poll of what people do when they walk up to me at an event. They talk about the Illuminator, and they're happy to get a communication we've never gotten before. Thank you, Council President.
Council President, I'm confused, and I'd like to ask a question for my council colleagues, really. Do my council colleagues know exactly how many, what did you call it, the Illuminators? Illuminati?
Illuminator.
Illuminator?
Yeah.
Do my council colleagues know how many Illuminators we have gotten over the course of a year? Do we know what other services they provide to us? I mean, that's really where my question was going. Not so much like about that, but whether we are actually getting the value. So I'd like to know if any of the council people up here know what those numbers are, because I asked the administration, I haven't seen it yet. Do you know, Councilman Coyle?
Councilman Brescher, you oppose the administration on everything we do. So it's fact that you just don't agree. That's fine, you have your opinion. We've received more than 3, I'd say at least 4 in a year. You've never done content creation. You're not an expert. To do content creation is a lot of work, Council President.
Councilman Coyle, he just asked a question. I believe it's quarterly, is it not? Yes, I think, so it's 4 a year.
Gotten 4.
Yeah.
So they're 10,000, a little over 10,000 apiece. So like 12,000 to put that content together. That I would find, as far as the public's concerned, that's gross. And that, I would tell you that I believe money's being funneled towards campaigns. So they're charging 12,000, right? They're putting 6 towards that, and 6 actually goes towards that. I mean, this, to be quite honest with you, should be investigated by some sort of law enforcement or some kind of body, if my council colleague is correct. But as we know, he doesn't know anything because he just happens to be the realtor on the property that we want to buy.
Councilman Brescher, let's stick to this.
Disgusting.
Are there any other comments
Yes,
to this? Yes, Councilman Pointer.
Council President, one of the items that is produced, I will admit, is underutilized and is not as promoted as I would like to see it promoted, is the e-Illuminator, which is the email version of the Illuminator. That is a monthly, that's supposed to be a monthly newsletter that is sent out to residents that sign up for that program. Last year, and I save all the ones that get emailed out, so last year there were 6 e-Illuminators sent out. This year there have been 2 so far. There was comment made about internal resources in terms of staffing. If I could maybe get comment from the business administrator, but my understanding is that we've had difficulty maintaining a press secretary. So if that's the truth, I'd imagine communications may be hindered because of that.
Correct.
With that said, I mentioned that I think that the email illuminator needs to be better utilized. I think that the updating of the website will be better able to promote that option. I believe it will be able to upload those communications more easily to make them more available. And with the right flow of information going back and forth in the sense of making sure that events are documented and available for review and sorry, words are not flowing well, but just to disseminate what's going on, I think that the value, more value would be seen. So I see that they do produce for the township. I've gotten compliments on the illuminator, the physical print. I think that the next step is getting the email communications better than what they currently are, but they are currently being done. So once those are promoted in its fullest capacity, I think we'll see the full value. Thank you, Council President.
All right, thank you, Councilman Pointer.
Council Vice President?
Yes, Councilman
I have a
Schmuel.
question for the BA with regards to the illuminator. Would it be possible to let the residents also contribute to the illuminator? Is that an option?
Sure. So actually, we've embarked on a new program with the civic engagement part that we'd like to gravitate towards the communications. So we are going to be putting out more civic engagement, a specific platform that would help to bring that feedback back into this administration. So then we could put that into our communication. So it is a new program we're going to be using. So certainly, yes, we are thinking about that. And as an administration, since it has been difficult to cover the press secretary position, or having that portion of being able to have somebody physically to do it has been challenging. So that's why we've embarked on this civic engagement program, to make sure that our communications is then projected with the information we're getting from our residents. So something we've been thinking about. It's a new thing, so we're looking to actually, to Councilman Pointer's point, is to do more content with what we receive.
Thank you.
Okay. Sonia, when does the current contract for Vision Media expire?
I believe it just expired, or soon to expire, March.
It expired in March?
March.
Okay. So what happens if there's a vote to table? What happens if we want to maybe bring this back after after questions have been answered? If we move this to the next set of meetings, is there any particular impact on that?
Absolutely. It inhibits us from using the professional services. We do have to pay them for their services, so it does inhibit that procurement process of paying a vendor.
Okay. All right. As for myself, just some comments. I've had some concerns about the content of the illuminator as well. I think it has potential. I've been shown newsletters from other towns that really are more meaty and more relevant. The problem I've seen with the illuminator has been that a lot of the information that's on there, by the time it's distributed, it's really old news. So I would like to see something that's more up to date. I'm all for the e-newsletter. The problem is for those who don't have access to computers, of course. I'd like to see some kind of retooling of this particular newsletter. And so with that, we have the motion to table is out there with a second? Yes. Okay, so are we taking a roll call on that? All right.
Councilman, this is motion to table.
Yes.
Councilmember Brescher.
Yes, to table.
Councilmember Coyle.
No to table.
Councilmember Patil.
Yes to table.
Councilmember Pointer.
No.
Councilmember Shmuel.
No.
Council President Harris.
No.
So it passes.
Okay, so
Now we need a motion.
Council President, motion to adopt
okay.
2-9.
Motion to adopt, Councilman Coyle? Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Pointer. Roll call.
Councilmember Brescher.
Bought and paid for. That would be a no.
Councilmember Coyle.
Yes.
Councilmember Patil.
No.
Councilmember Pointer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shmuel.
Yes.
Council President Harris.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I think we move on to oral petitions, right? Around to, okay, we move to oral petitions and remarks, starting from the list. Someone who I believe is Christo. Christo? I can't hear you. Okay, well, then if it's ladies first, that means we're skipping over Joel Bassoff. Okay, Joel, go ahead.
Joel Bassoff, 17 Beach Lane. So my questions for the council are, at this point, is there anyone on the council that doubts that the council now has the power to repeal the ordinance that allows for 4-story buildings on Amboy Avenue? And my next question is there anyone who doubts that the council and the planning board have been delaying the repeal of the permission for 4 stories on Amboy Avenue inordinately? They could have been repealed last year. Is there anyone on the council that doubts that the people of the Clara Barton neighborhood are uniformly against 4-story buildings on Amboy Avenue, with possibly one exception on this dais? And given that that's the case, my question is, why not just propose an ordinance to repeal the commercial corridor overlay, to repeal the authorization for 4-story buildings, so that Amboy Avenue could be limited to 3 stories at most, which is what the residents want, with possibly one exception on this dais? Why not just get it done? Is there anyone that doubts that the council actually could have done that?
Okay.
Those are my questions.
I think the attorney was getting us that information, right? On the different things we could do. You told me you would get me the information on the different avenues we could take for the 3 to 4 stories.
Yeah, so right now what has happened is the resolution that was approved by the council, sending it a referral to the planning board to remove that portion of the ordinance rather than scuttle the entire redevelopment plan, was heard by the planning board. I did have to go and confirm this with Mr. Renone just to make sure that I was correct. They now have it. They've done what we've asked them to do, which is send it to be rewritten so that it is consistent and has that portion of it. Well, maybe not necessarily send it to be rewritten, because if they send it back to us without that done, then this council can push to override whatever it is that they send back. But they've sent it to their experts to examine that issue and have that issue actually done properly. The council can do any number of things, but it doesn't mean that the council shouldn't rely on their experts. The same thing goes with the planning board.
My question the other day, maybe it was, maybe you got a little confused with it. You know how you said the council can do other things?
Yeah.
I'm looking for that advice for you to give me that by next meeting.
Okay.
A list of all the other things. If that means this body could just take one vote and we can just make it, change the number on it, right? From 4, you white it out and you put 3 like we used to do years ago. If that's an option, then we would like to know that. That was what my question was.
Okay.
For you to give me the answers on that.
Yeah, I'll get you a more detailed response to that particular issue.
Okay, what I'm hearing is that, yes, the council can do something, and it's incumbent on the attorneys for the council to draft the appropriate document to get it done, because it's time to get it done already before a development plan is filed for 4 stories, and it ends up costing the township millions of dollars to try to stop it. Okay, I have questions on a couple of other items. With regard to the budget, why is the introduction of the budget a month late? Did Edison get a dispensation from the local finance board? or is Edison just not adhering to the local budget law? Let me ask the rest of my questions so that I can get the answers at the end. Also, when will the municipal code be amended to conform to the statute for calendar year deadlines rather than fiscal year deadlines for the budget? Now, with regard to an ordinance for definitions for warehouses, fulfillment centers, and distribution centers, why isn't the council doing that already? I know that an ordinance had been drafted. It contained some loopholes that were big enough for an 18-wheeler to drive through. Those loopholes were easy fixes, so my question is, are we waiting for the owners of the logistics centers to draft an ordinance for us? Or is the council ready to draft an ordinance that will protect residents against truck traffic going through residential neighborhoods? And finally, with regard to the work session from March 11th, that is still not on Edison TV or on the Edison YouTube channel. When is that recording of the meeting going to be restored? Because it looks like, because of the absence of that meeting from our media outlets, it looks like perhaps either the administration or the council is trying to hide something, and I'm sure that that's not the case. So let's get that restored so that the public can have full access to their own elected representatives. So those are the rest of my questions.
All right, so the first one had to do with the budget date being delayed, and was there some special dispensation? Is that what you said? So I'm going to turn it over to you over there.
Sure, I'll turn it over to our attorney, but it is not, there's no, nothing that we violated with the DCA regarding the introduction of the budget.
Okay. Your next.
That's my understanding as
Okay.
well, although I don't have that information in front of, I don't have that information in front of me, but that was my understanding as well from when I spoke to Mr. Renone about that the first time it got raised, I think in January. So I believe that Sonia is correct, that there's been nothing violated, that it's been submitted properly.
Okay. The gentleman's time is up. Is that correct, Marlena? Yes. The other three issues, I'm hoping maybe we can take offline after the meeting. Okay, thank you so much. All right. Next is Lois Wolke. Come on down.
Lois Wolke, Peak Road, Edison. I apologize for anything if I say is repetitive, because I typed this up for the Monday work session and I didn't get here. Again, racist flyer. I'm back again for the third time, twice in person at meetings, plus an April 25th email I sent to the entire council with copies to the mayor and the business administrator regarding the almost 7 years old racist flyer issue and the lack of follow-up by the town with the Attorney General. Here's an excerpt from the Attorney General's website on actions the town can take to move things along. And the township attorney did bring this up at the work session and said there are things we can do. If the Attorney General does not take action on an issue within the town itself does not have the direct authority to compel the Attorney General to act. The Attorney General's role is typically independent of local government and operates at the state level. As I said, the township attorney said that's true. However, there are steps the town can take. They could contact elected officials. Town officials, including the mayor, council members, or other elected representatives, can communicate with the Attorney General's office and express their concerns and request action. Also, advocacy and public pressure. The town can raise awareness about the issue, engage in advocacy efforts, and put public pressure on the Attorney General to address it. Again, my questions are, has the council or administration communicated with the Attorney General's office to voice their concerns and to move things along to a conclusion? If the council or administration has not taken any action to get to the truth, why not? What facts don't they want to come out? Who are they protecting? There's something very wrong here. My second issue, airings of the council meetings on Edison TV. I'm back again trying to get an update on when the council meetings will be shown on Edison TV and who changed the former schedule where they were shown 5 times a week at different times to the present schedule where it's one night a week at 10:30 p.m. This is ridiculous. A more inconvenient time for residents who work or seniors could not have been picked. The showing of the work session this week at 10:30 p.m. would have required viewers to stay up until 1 a.m. in the morning. That's crazy. Is the township embarrassed and doesn't want the public to know what's going on? And I do want to thank Councilwoman Harris, who said she thought the airings should be more convenient for residents as they formerly were. I called the mayor's office yesterday and was promised a call back, but I never got it. I specifically asked for the name of the person who came up with this ridiculous schedule. I never got the call back, so I never got the name. I want to point out that council members are all younger than Esther Nemitz or myself. You don't realize that all this tech stuff is foreign territory to our generation. So please be considerate and fair and allow senior citizens and those who only have access to the TV to be informed, and let's go back to the old schedule. Again, my questions are, and I hope I get answers tonight. Who made the decision to have the meeting aired at 10:30? Are both the work session and regular meetings aired at 10:30? Does whoever is responsible for this plan to change and go back to the old schedules? I'm concerned and disappointed that many questions by residents go unanswered at meetings because department heads are not in attendance. They are referred to the business administrator, who sometimes is unable to answer them at the meeting. This happens a lot more frequency now than in the past, and I go back a lot of years with this council and the township. And I have to say, the business administrator makes a substantial salary of almost $250,000 with perks.
Speaker has 1 minute.
1 minute? In short, I'm very disappointed in what I perceive to be a direction away from open government in Edison. Residents are not getting answers. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's take, with regard to the racist flyer, which we did address, I had that in my council comments on Monday, and I'm just going to have the attorney speak to that again.
Yeah. I think the speaker actually summarized it well, that there's little that the council or the administration can officially do to compel the attorney general to act, but there is nothing preventing members of the council from either reaching out to the elected officials at the state level or to the attorney general's office itself to try to apply pressure, if that's what you want to refer to it as, to act. But it is a criminal matter. The council simply doesn't have jurisdiction to force any kind of resolution other than the hope that by continuing to contact the office of the attorney general or their representatives in Trenton, that something may come of it.
Okay, thank you. The concerns about the airings of the council meetings, which I also had spoken to on Monday, I, along with Lois and Esther and anyone else who's concerned about this, wonder, is there a reason why it's so difficult to get these airings into a better time slot, either more often and at more reasonable time slots? I thoroughly understand, and Esther had emailed about the fact that the other night's meeting was 2.5 hours at 10:30. She can't stay up that late. Is there any reason why this schedule cannot be changed?
As I mentioned on Monday, that's being reviewed. All of the content for the TV is being reviewed, including any meeting airings.
Do we have any idea when we might get some resolution to this?
We'll get to you at the next meeting.
I'd appreciate that. We'd all appreciate that. And I think, Lois, were you asking about the department heads being at the meetings? Is that correct? Okay. And now, they are at the work sessions. They are at the work sessions. They're not at the regular meetings. And I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to say about that?
I'd have nothing else to add.
Okay. Okay.
Council
And
President?
And still, wait, we're still working on the list. Christo, are you in? Okay. Yes, this is,
Thank you. Am I recognized?
you are recognized.
Thank you. Absolutely, this past Sunday was for all Orthodox Christians, the whole Orthodox Christian world. Easter, Jesus Christ resurrected. You understand? And nowhere on Mayor Sam Joshi's Facebook page does he acknowledge it. He acknowledges everything else. So it just leads me to believe only you, Margot Harris, and this has been for the past four years, only Margot Harris, only Councilman Richard Brescher acknowledges and gives thanks on this day. But what is it with Mayor Sam Joshi? It's, highly suspicious to me. Through the chair to Councilman Joe Coyle. Councilman Joe Coyle, I don't understand how I lost the Jade Dynasty ethics complaint, but 1 year later, just the fact that the township's buying up the same property for double what it was worth at the time the ethics complaint was written up is even more suspicious that I will resubmit that complaint. I am going to resubmit that complaint. The child pornography, the manufacturing of the child pornography, through the Councilman Margot, I tagged you. I tagged you also on Facebook. It should be on your Facebook walls. The two individuals charged with manufacturing of the child pornography. Why is there no public service announcement given out to residents? Why is there no public service announcement to parents or anyone in the area of Lindenall School and Thomas Jefferson Middle School? Do you not think people have the right to know, hey, some of the kids that went to the school here, that's a good question. Were those kids that went to those schools abused by those parents? Because if that's the case, then every single kid that went to those homes now there has to be a large investigation. Yet the media doesn't say nothing. They're used to slandering me when I do good community service, going after Sam Joshi's political enemies, and now you have what happened with the bus, dehumanizing Hispanics, thinking that Hispanic people drive around with kilos of cocaine, making comments like they want to shoot guns and corral them out of town. Is that how they take me out of this council meeting? Is that what they treat me the same way they treat the people on the bus? It's very dehumanizing, it's very demoralizing, and I hope we can retrain these officers, to have some integrity. You understand? Through the chair to Councilman Brescher. Councilman Brescher, do you think it's okay to have police officers on the force joking about civil rights violations, the right to freely travel? The way I thought about it, I thought I was going to see 7, 8, 9, 10 buses. I thought they're talking about an invasion. I thought I'm going to see like tons of these buses. You know how many buses I saw? Just one. With 10 and 15 women and children going sightseeing, asylum seekers that had their day in court in New York and were on their way to their day in court. Can you believe that? You guys grant them the right to seek asylum, and then when they go to their destination, to their court date, you sick the Edison police on them. Just like the Edison police officer said, we should be able to sick our dogs. Something of that nature. He insinuated that much. Sick dogs on human beings? Through the chair to the lawyer. Sick dogs on human beings? And how much time do I have left, Marlena?
1.5 minutes.
1.5 minutes. On the day I was kicked out 2 years ago at the budget meeting, and I got the body-worn cameras. I have body-worn camera footage of the business administrator making jokes with numerous cops around her that she has a weapon, and she insinuated that weapon that she had, even though it was her high heel, whatever, was for me. I find that a little bit insulting. Can you imagine if I said I had a weapon for one of you guys? How seriously that would be taken? No wonder why the cops behave the way they do. And not only that, she saw me outside arguing with the police. Of course I'm going to argue with why I wasn't arguing with the police. I was debating them. Why what they did was a violation of my civil rights. The moment she saw me, you know what she said, Councilman Brescher? Jesus Christ. Are you aware it's a sin to use God's name in vain? Through the chair to the BA, are you aware that Jesus Christ is God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? And when you used Jesus Christ the way you did, you committed a sin? Would you like to repent for the sin that you committed, BA? Do you admit that Jesus Christ is God, the one true God?
30 seconds.
Do you admit that Jesus Christ is the one true God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, BA? If so, then you used his name in vain. You should ask God for forgiveness. He will forgive you. He's a very forgiving. Jesus Christ is very forgiving. But a lot of other Christians that they're going to watch that video, they're not going to like that very much. How much time do I have left, Marlena?
7 seconds.
Jesus Christ is the truth. Mayor Sam Joshi is corrupt.
Okay, we're off the list now. Yes.
Notice how the cops only come in the room and I come in. That's gang stalking.
Come on up.
They're stalking me. They're stalking me. It could have been a shift change. Is the shift change? We'll give these guys the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, Christo.
No, but I'm...
Christo. Thank you. Go ahead. Name and address again, please.
All right. Hi. Yeah, Nina Carlson, Teabury Drive. I really was here. I know I spoke earlier on a resolution that many folks spoke on, but I'm actually here just to, one, some of you, not as many familiar faces I expected, but may remember me from the Glendale warehouse fight a few years ago. To those of you who offered your support in securing the plot as open space, I would like to personally thank you for your efforts. To see investment in the residents of South Edison and their welfare is a joyous thing. So I'm here today to now turn your attention to the workers of South Edison. Silgan Manufacturing steelworkers have been on strike for over 2 weeks now, asking their longstanding employer for a fair contract. They have been resilient and peaceful in their stance, and I am here simply as a concerned resident raising awareness of the strike for your benefit. As esteemed representatives of our township, I invite you to do as I did and visit the workers themselves. So talk to them, listen to their experience, and hear what they have to say. Many of these striking workers are not only longtime employees within Edison Township, but call this place their home as well. I think we can all agree that industry is a large piece of the fabric of this town. What I would like to see from my representatives is a willingness to get to know the people who keep things going, who put in honest work and deserve honest pay. It's a great chance to meet your neighbors and show support, and I have it on good account that there are occasionally hot dogs and or hamburgers, though I make no promises. I'd like to conclude with a reminder of what labor unions have won for us as American workers: shorter work week, abolition of child labor, standard 8-hour workday, affordable health care, safer working conditions, and a minimum wage, just to name a few. I consider labor strikes to be an effective and time-honored tradition in our society, and I hope to see some, if not all of you, visit the Silgan picket line in the coming days. That's on National Road. They're there from sun up to sundown and then some. I didn't know about it until a few days ago, and I thought, just given the timing of the council meeting, I just wanted to let you all know as well. Great guys and gals out there, yeah, just in case you weren't aware, now you are. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you very much.
You know, Council President?
Yes.
You know, one of the things that the public, to show support for union labor that's out there, as you drive by, if you can honk your horn to let them know that you stand with them. It's something that I've done for years. I actually did it 2 days ago when I went down Talmadge. So I thank you for bringing awareness to the rest of the town here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, in the back? Yes, you, sir.
Yes, my name is Rich Lord. I've lived in Edison my entire life. I'd like to quote Superior Court Judge Mitchell E. Oster of the Superior Court of the State of New Jersey. In a free society, citizens are not subject to arbitrary commands to show their papers or prove their identity. That was the fate of African Americans who had to show their papers during slavery, and the fate of Jews had to show identification papers in the Warsaw Ghetto. To permit law enforcement officers to ask for and to check out passenger identification under these circumstances opens a door to the type of indiscriminate, oppressive, fearsome, authoritarian practices and tactics of those in power that the Fourth Amendment was designed to prohibit. Demanding ID from passengers in this state is a direct violation of the Constitution of the state and the Constitution of the United States, supported by case law, supported by the federal district courts. It is inexcusable that that bus was detained. And it did not matter if they were migrants, if they were a busload of migrants, a busload of Norwegian tourists, a busload of Jews, a busload of black people. The police in this state, in this town, do not get to tell a busload of people that they can't be in this town to walk our streets. Unless martial law was declared, unless some kind of law, were they enforcing any law at all. What probable cause did they have to detain the bus? What warrant did they have? What due process of law did the mayor was given the bus he threatened to deport out of town? What due process of law? Do you guys understand what warrants are? Do you understand what due process of law is? Do you understand what the courts are? Do you understand what the Constitution is? Do you understand that it's illegal for the police to tell people, all persons, citizens or persons, read the Constitution. It's not just citizens, all persons, migrants, everyone has rights in this country. The First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. It is a disgrace that this council has been silent in the face of what happened in Germany. They belittled human beings, and then they put them on trains and took them out of town. And that happened here. And your silence is inexcusable, absolutely inexcusable. I'm asking this council to go to the Holocaust Museum and to learn about what fascism is. And I'm asking you to be a voice and to counter what the police chief, the mayor, and the police did to those people, those human beings, those persons with rights. Instead, silence. And the administration will say, we're reviewing it. Next month, they're going to say, we're reviewing it. And the month after that, they're going to say, we're reviewing it. The only thing they're going to say is, we're reviewing it over and over again, because they have nothing but contempt for you and us. Actions, actions. Shame on this town. I am ashamed to live here. Been here since 1971, and this town has a lot to be proud of. A lot to be proud of. Lewis Nixon, the guy from Band of Brothers, he came here after World War II, After he liberated the camps, he came here to work. Shame on this town for what they did, and shame on your silence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council President?
Yes.
I did speak about this in the past, about the mayor's actions. I believe that our police department is some sort of like military organization. I believe that their directions come from the top, which would, in our organization here, we have a police director or something of that nature, we call it, or our head, that is designated as the mayor. So when the mayor makes his comments, he instills those values from the top down. Our officers are employees that are here to work. They want to do a job and they want to get a paycheck. Unfortunate for them, right? They have to obey their orders, which come from the top. Now, I will tell you this. After seeing the video and after seeing the article, I wanted to comment. I was unable to comment because not this council president, the other council president, makes me put my questions in for my discussion items on Wednesday. And this came up on like a Monday, so he doesn't allow current events to be spoken at a meeting. That's a big problem I always have with what he's trying to do. But I am going to address this at the next meeting and explain how when you go down a certain road, you create hatred. And that's where I believe our mayor was going. I believe our mayor has created hatred here. And I'm going to talk about that at the next meeting discussions by his actions and by what he says. But that would be a council president. Next meeting will be addressed.
Thank you, Councilman Brescher. Okay, anyone from that side? No? Okay, let's go to Diana.
Diana Jaffe, 86 Laurel Hollow Court, no relation to the notorious Jaffe. Just getting that out. I'm back. I want to know where we are with the Inman Avenue, Raritan Road traffic debacle. It's just as bad as it was when I got up here half a dozen times ago. I keep being told that they're working on it. It's under review. It's engineers have looked at it. I don't understand the difficulty in fixing this problem where I'm told, well, owners have rights. They can grow their hedges. Well, those rights, do they precede the rights of drivers, of pedestrians, of safety? I don't think so. I had the opportunity to talk to Councilman Pointer as we were walking in tonight, and he made a suggestion about mirrors and it doesn't matter, whatever. I haven't gotten a clear answer, only that why we can't do anything. It's all about ordinances and laws. I haven't seen one of them. And I really want to have an answer because I don't want to come up here 7, 8, 9 times. There are more important things, as previous speaker spoke about. But this is important in terms of traffic safety and people's lives. Are we waiting for somebody to be killed? I have a feeling that I keep being processed and things keep getting shoved under the rug. I want an answer, and we need to fix that corner. And I guess there are other corners, there are other streets that are dangerous that we need to look at. And if this one is an example, I think we ought to start with this one. And I'm tired of hearing we can't do anything or we shaved it down and it's fine. It's not fine. It's a blind spot. It's something that's very dangerous. So that's all I'm going to say. I'm waiting for an answer, and I'll keep coming back until I get one.
Okay, thank you, Diana. Has this matter been brought to the attention of the traffic division?
It has, and we've communicated with Ms. Jaffe and tried to remedy it in steps. So currently, what it is under review between our engineer, because our current ordinance does not support the changes. So what needs to happen is happening is that our engineering and traffic division will make a recommendation to this body to potentially have an ordinance changed, because it does affect not only that area, but several areas.
Okay. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, Councilman, I just want to make a remark here. the changing ordinance is not only the way to solve the problem. We have multiple avenues to solve the problem, and one of them was the flashing light, blinking pathways, something. We need to show the progress. We are spending millions and millions of dollars on many things. Yes, I heard this is probably more than a year. I'm waiting solution for the similar situation, what Ms. Jaffe brought. I think the priority here is not to address some of the very sensitive issues, and we are waiting things to happen. And what I heard tonight, the incident did happen on one of the intersections that I brought many times on the New Brunswick Avenue. Person barely got saved, almost died. Yet, we are still waiting for the funds to put the flashing lights because, hey, we need a bond. And again, it gets put into several other things that are not necessarily the right things to do. So we need to decide, this council needs to really decide what's our priority. Is the quality of life situations are the priority, or something big flashy things that goes in a bulletin is the priorities? With that, I will rest my comment. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Council President?
Yes.
I just want to comment. I thought this was handled by now, and I would like at the next meeting or before that to get an answer on what our position is when it becomes an imminent hazard. And I thought that we have implied consent to just go in and just cut the hedges down when and if they are in a site triangle that would cause harm to others. So I just want to get that answer later, where we lay with that, because I know we've done it in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
Anthony Diamond, 25 Wiley. Excuse me, I forgot my pen, so I have to do this. As far as the racist flyer is concerned, let's be honest, it was a success, depending on, I guess, who you ask, but, mission completed. Certain individuals were dirtied up, and as a result, the man who led the committee of the whole became mayor, and there was another councilman on that committee of the whole who's now the chief of staff for the mayor, earning a nice salary. So unfortunately, the cover up here, to me, is worse than the crime, and it's sad. And let's be honest, it's not going to go anywhere. As far as Edison TV's council meeting times, well, I worked for the previous administration a little bit, and co-hosted my own public safety show, Cop Chat, and I can tell you that in airing of these times, they have to fill in a lot of time, all right? And one of the problems is filling airtime, content. And running these meetings is not the problem. So this tells me it's done deliberately, and that to me comes from the top. So that's just speaking from personal experience. So I look forward to finding out that the administration's response to that, though. And as far as public safety is concerned, I first want to thank the Edison Police Department, the officers that responded again to the area where I live in Clara Barton the other night. A suspicious individual walking, and they responded quickly, and the individual was. They found the individual. I don't know what happened after that, but I thank them. They've been called many times over the last few months. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, a home 2 houses down was broken into, 10 o'clock in the morning, ransacked. They're still, I don't know if detectives were in the area recently asking questions, and they're on the case, so I hope they catch the individuals. But it seems that crime here has just continued to get worse. Not better, and that is not the fault of the police department, in my opinion. I just think it's policy driven as well. We've had I've been up to this desk. We spoke about. I brought up many times about the number of police officers that we have on patrol. My concerns that they were too low. I also brought up the fact that we've had conversations about moving money in and out of the police budget. And this is what we get. I mean, this should not be a surprise. Unfortunately, we're living it though, us residents. So I think the mayor should step aside as the public safety director. I think he should give that position to somebody that has some experience. He could appoint it to basically anybody, from my understanding. So that would be a first step in doing something. And bringing back a show like a public safety show. I'd highly recommend doing a more interactive thing where people, because there's a lot of people that have concerns about what's going on in town. They don't fill up this room because, let's be honest, they don't have the time to come here at these times. Meetings starting at 6, it's people getting home from work. It's just hard to get to. So, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their concerns. Believe me, they do. Believe me, they do. So, but that's it for now. So thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mary Ann?
Mary Ann Hennessy, Carmelo Drive. I am going to tell you I'm very disappointed with the move on the media. I think the best thing you could have done was to table it and look into other, excuse me, into other ways to solve the problem. I'm rattled. Sorry on that one. I support what Lois says about the TV. I have been a resident here for 54 years. I watch the TV. I was perfectly happy with the schedule that has always been in place for viewing the council meetings. I will make a comment. People aren't going to like it because I'm going to make the comment. But today, I sat and I watched in a time slot where you could have put the council meeting, the way to make a template and put it on a car for New Brunswick, for Middlesex County, for the RIDE program. That could have been put on later, and the council meeting could have been put there, because the council meeting is far more important than seeing how to laser out RIDE and put it on a car. So that's the comment I'm making. I may make enemies, but I don't care. I'm tired of not seeing it. I'm also tired that we can't see it, but we can see replays of the various events that have happened in Papiani Lake. You could put one of them aside and you could put the council meetings up there. You're not doing it. And if you think the residents are quiet about it because they don't come here, they're not quiet about it. They don't like it. You've got seniors who may have the use of a computer, but you also have seniors who don't have a use of the computer. And for someone to make a blanket comment of, oh, they can go to the library. Excuse me? Some of them don't drive. And assistance to get to the library does not exist in the town. We don't supply enough for seniors for transportation. That's another problem. I had something else, and Margot, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Monday night, part of the conversation that you had was the fact that you said that the township is losing revenue, a significant amount of revenue, and that some other town implemented cannabis and was making money. And you suggested or made the comment that perhaps we should relook at the cannabis. No. Not unless you find other places other than the south end of town, because the bulk of the suggestions was the south end of town, and I use the term, I'm tired of being dumped on. I have to put up with all these warehouses. I have to put up with all these traffic problems. And now you're going to dump on me on a place like on Carter, which is Talmadge. You're going to dump on me a place, you want it, you can order it by mail. You don't have to go to a store. You can get in your car, you can drive up Woodbridge Avenue from Sutton's Lane, you get up to the top at the traffic light, make a right, there's the auto repair place, and there's the big Highland Park yellow cannabis store. I don't need it down here. I'm sorry, after 54 years, I am not happy with the way we're being treated in this area. And I'm not the only one, I really am not. And I think maybe that's it. I don't mean to put you on the carpet.
It's okay.
I really didn't, Margot, because it just, when you made that comment, I realized we've lost revenue. Find another way to do it other than putting cannabis in this area. You want it? Put it up the other end of town. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Ann. Okay. Joyce?
Since we're, Joy Ship, Edison, New Jersey, since we're talking about streets, there is Avenue C in Edison in Bottomtown area, whereas the seniors told me they can't get out that street. And it's a big problem. I know the other street, Main Street, I know that belongs to Charlie Tamaro and them, so I've already called him about that. But the actual street that's called Avenue C is a whole lot of blockage going on, and it's like a death trap waiting to happen because someone else has purchased the corner store, and if they make it more people come than normally, then that's going to be a very big hazard going on that street. Number two, I don't want to beat a dead horse about the TV shows and the information given to people, but I was disappointed in the answers last week. The council president, if you make me angry, then we'll get somebody to walk you out. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Everybody kept talking about cursing, and they kept talking about all these different ways of people, you know, and I think there's something wrong if you sit in a seat and you can't take a little bit of criticism. Something's wrong with you. It's not wrong with the rest of the people. If you can't take the criticism, something's wrong with you. If somebody tells you at all, I hear somebody say, oh, Councilman Brescia, you oppose everything. No, he doesn't oppose everything, but this is not communism. You can ask a question. Would you like it if somebody said, oh, all of y'all are bobbleheads? Would you like it? No, you wouldn't like that. So I don't understand why people have issues and have problems with people asking questions. We love to hear the answers. And I'm like the other guy that came up here before. I'm really disappointed in everybody because it's always reviewing. We're reviewing this, we're reviewing this, we're reviewing this. We've been reviewing stuff since January. It's almost June, and we're still reviewing stuff the whole time. So I'm just saying that disappointment goes all over the place, and a lot of seniors and other people that are not privy to information, like when you send out your rah-rah papers and you present that, I've seen better papers. Like say, for instance, say Councilwoman Margot Harris, she's working on the Ferrante house and stuff and how far this stuff is. That's what I want to see in a paper. That's what you see in other towns. This person is working on this. This person is working on that. It makes a lot of sense to me, okay? Because other than that, the TV is all rah, rah, rah. I don't get the emails, so. The illuminator is all rah, rah, rah. You know, nothing is perfect, okay? When you want to build a nice place and everything, you have to have dissent sometime. If we didn't have dissent, we wouldn't have the America that we have. You have to have it, you know? And I don't like the part that lately, for the last couple of years, the lawyer actually runs the meeting. The council president doesn't, the lawyer does. You know, I mean, they're butting in the whole time when you're supposed to be talking to the council president and talking to the council people, you know, so that's another thing that I'm very disappointed in. You know what I mean? Because I think more of people than allowing themselves to be coerced into doing stuff that they really are like half-heartedly being a part of, you know. I just like to tell everybody, because even with my students, I just said, speak, get information back to the people. Don't let them just sit around. Just like I'm telling you about Avenue C, and I spoke about that earlier, so if I'm talking about Avenue C, I don't want to come back again and they say, oh, we're reviewing it. We're reviewing it. Let me tell you all, we pay enough people, like she's saying about department heads and everybody. Let me tell you something, Edison, we spend enough money to get some answers. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes.
As far as her comments about that I oppose things, right? My colleagues said that many times. But my council body here, you know, doesn't support me when I say I don't get information, okay? And all I was asking was for information and the time to review that. And I asked at Monday's meeting and I did not review it. But my council body could not even give me that courtesy, which I call a professional courtesy. While the administration, I've had things that I have not brought to light to the public, which to me is damning and would make the mayor, in my mind, should resign from his position. So I'd like the mayor to know, and if the administration can please inform him, because his council people can't give me the due respect that when I'm asking for information, right, to get me that information and let me review it. And I was asking to table it, not just, to vote no or that it couldn't be, because it could have been a good thing. But I'd like the business administrator to inform the mayor that because of my council colleagues, the ones that he has here, that I call him, those are his pocket council people, I'm going to bring this up and we're going to have a discussion on this and his ability to be a public safety director at the next meeting. Thank you, Joe Coyle, for bringing this to my attention.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No, we're not there yet. In the back row again?
Hi, I'm Richard Lord, third generation resident of Edison. Right now, I'm going to school to become a history education teacher, trying to become a teacher one day. And recently, I did a lesson plan for one of my classes all about the Constitution in order to teach students about the Constitution. And the entire time, I felt as though I've been lying through my teeth, trying to explain to students, future students, what the Constitution is and what it means to their freedoms. Sitting in this council meeting tonight, I just kind of feel, knowing everything that's happened with the migrant issue and the corruption, the apparent supposed corruption of Sam Joshi, it's making me lose faith in the government of this town. Like I said, third generation here in this town, and I don't know if I want to continue in this town, seeing everything. Now, I don't know if what I'm saying right now makes any sense, if I'm just kind of talking out of my butt here or not. But I know future as a history teacher, it's going to be rough trying to convince further generations that this system is working, that this is a good way to continue, because as my father said, I've seen some fascist tendencies that I'm not liking as a citizen of this country. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Charlie?
Good evening once again, Council. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. I wanted to start with a question for the council. Does the council believe that the township's response to the Edison train station on the morning of January 1st was handled appropriately or inappropriately?
I'm sorry, Charlie, so you're asking?
Asking your take on the situation. I know you read my article, so I wanted to ask the council if you believe it was appropriate or inappropriate, how that was handled.
Okay, does anyone want to speak to that?
Council President.
Yes, Councilman Patil?
I think, Charlie, you should watch the council meeting when we had, I would say, this room was full.
January 4th.
Yes.
I did watch it, yes.
Yes. And I think, most of the council members did comment. And that issue for me personally was very sensitive, looking at who is around us, left, right. It's not about the color of skin. It's about more about humanity and treating the people with respect. When the intent of those people who came in Edison was not to be in Edison, but to go to New York, so there was obviously no reason to stop. Let me extend further. If I would have been the safety in charge, I would have put the tent for them, welcomed them, would have given a breakfast, tea, coffee, and would have asked them to take the train to the next destination. That how I would have handled, with the humanity, giving the respect. Again, does anyone has the authority to say that you must be deported? I don't think. We are talking extreme language here. And all people who made those comments need to understand where they came from, where their parents came from. Once upon a time, they were also immigrant. So let's look at the history. And the reason I said that, what lesson I'm going to teach to my child, how this will look in the history, how Edison treated people who were supposed to be given a respect, not to be thrown out of the town. With that, I will rest my case. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
I 100% agree with
Anyone else? Okay.
I do have some more. I know I stood at this microphone on Monday, and I was told by the BA that there would be that she would coordinate a response. I'd pointed out that I'd reached out to the police for a response and gotten nothing, and I do want to share the emails with you, if that's okay. Give it to Marlena. So you'll see today at 10:56 a.m., Mr. Cradaville, the chief, will respond today. Regards, Sonia. 12:16 p.m. today, from Sonia, in response to your inquiry, there is no additional comment. So what changed in a little over an hour there, where the chief was going to comment, now the chief's not going to comment?
Okay. Sonia, can you respond to that? You cannot. Okay.
Why can't the BA respond?
I don't know why the BA can't respond.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll just say this is unacceptable and unprofessional. I was promised a response here, and if I hadn't come back tonight, everybody would have assumed, oh, Charlie must have got his response. But I'm here to tell you, I got just the opposite. I got the runaround. And so now we've got the BA giving me the runaround. The police are staying silent. The mayor is not commenting. Vision Media is not commenting. And I encourage folks to go to newbrunswicktoday.com and read the article about this and read the full article. Because when you get to the end, you get to the part about how hard we had to fight just to get those videos. These videos are public records. There are records, and they should have been released. But, in this case, the Edison Police Department repeatedly delayed and then illegally denied my January 2nd request for the recordings. And they completely ignored my request made under the common law right of access. Those videos were released only because I was able to get a lawyer to take the case and bring a lawsuit against the township for violating the OPRA, the Open Public Records Act. And, I just want folks to read the full article and see what I went through just to get to that stage, because when I reached out, Joshi's administration gave us the runaround, at first asking for more time to produce the videos. The EPD's Central Records Office said they would need extensions to produce the records on January 12th and again on January 26th. When I asked why they needed more time, the response was, quote, to the voluminous of the requests, which is not a typographical error in my article. It's just a nonsense. It's a statement without proper sentence structure. And that's what the police's official response to my request was. And then on February 16th, they said they required an additional extension. But then they came back and said, actually, we're not going to give you the record after all, because we started an internal affairs investigation into what happened. And ultimately, Police Chief Bryan, Deputy Chief Dudash both failed to respond to multiple messages left with their staff and via email, and I see they're absent tonight. So I'm here to say this is unacceptable. It appears that EPD violated people's rights in this incident, and then, instead of owning up to it, correcting it, they violated the OPRA.
Sir, your time
And
is up.
they
Your time is
engaged in
up.
a cover-up attempt, and I think we need to bring the FBI
Thank you, sir.
in to
Your
take
time is up.
over.
Thank you.
Council President,
Yes.
to our attorney, because I was told that they review the Oprah request. Was this an issue where the police department wouldn't release it? And can you get me a date as to when your office cleared this Oprah to go out, because I believe this could be litigation. I believe it would be entitled to compensation. And if it's because our police department didn't release it in time, whoever does that should be held accountable. If it's your firm should be held accountable. But this town itself should not pay a nickel because, we have other people that are involved in this. So I'd like to find out who's at fault for not getting this gentleman the information in a timely manner. And we've heard this from many people. So if you can get me the date that your firm approved, to release the videos.
Yeah, I obviously I haven't heard about it until right now because there's 22 lawyers at our firm. I believe that's the number right now. So I think it's I think I know which one handles the Oprah request, so I'll speak with them tomorrow and get you some information on that.
Okay, and you have his name and contact and all that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, do you have your card or anything like that?
I'll come up to you after the work.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlie. Any other first-time speakers? Okay. Oh, go ahead, Akhtar.
Akhtar Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So I had a whole list of things I was going to say, but I'm going to go ahead and start off with this one first. First off, I was appalled by the video on the immigrants. There was one sentence that really struck a chord with me, that they said that there are people underneath the carriage. There is no reason to go ahead and say that. Now, Councilman Brescher, you said that this goes from top to bottom. Somebody can tell me what to do, what policies I have to follow, but the verbiage that comes out of my mouth is my own. So I don't know what we need to do. We probably have to do some retraining. There's a whole lot of other things to do as well. I can't speak any better than the people behind me. They've said a whole lot of things, and so I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. But I appreciate the people behind me that have brought up this and done an excellent job talking about it. So I'm going to go back to where I usually go, and kind of tired of talking about this every single time. I'm sure the people behind me are tired of talking about this as well or hearing about it. So the resolution from 4 to 3 stories. We were told that we're going to get an answer. We need to bypass the planning board. They had 2 meetings they could have addressed it at. They chose not to. It took them 45 days to go ahead and say something as simple as, we'll do another study. So I need the legal expertise on what we can do to stay away from what the planning board's doing, and the council needs to actively get involved and vote on this. We've spent way too much time on this. The planning board ignores our feedback. The plan is going to go ahead and ignore the feedback of the people. We had a meeting with lots of residents, and everyone's saying maybe 2.5 stories is what we should do. So let's move forward with that. At the next meeting, can you go ahead and give us the way to get the council involved and expedite this?
That was the conversation that Mr. Brescher and I had earlier. Yes.
Okay, so that's excellent. I'm going to go a different way with something else. We're going to go back to sidewalks again. Marlena, can you pass out the documents that I asked you to copy? They are out there already? All right. So what you have in front of you is some communication from Bignell, December 5th, 2023. If you go to 11D, it says the 5 Cabot Avenue parking spaces are located in the right-of-way and were approved with the previous board approval. Since these are in the public right-of-way, they may still be subject to township approval. So I'm asking that we somehow work with the council and we look at that approval and we vote on it to deny it. We cannot bypass the New Jersey law that says that you need to have sidewalks on that property. We cannot bypass the ordinance that says that we need to have sidewalks on that property. There is no good reason to go ahead and put these children at risk, which on a property that is 0.3 miles away from the school. So I'm asking if anyone on the dais can speak if there has been past precedence in allowing parking spots to be built on a right-of-way where a sidewalk is required. I'm also asking Councilman Pointer, we had some exchange today, if you can get clarification on the contents of the email that I sent to you last month and resent it to you again.
Councilman Pointer?
Sure. So the email that was sent to me is confuddling 2 different application issues. The sidewalk issue should have originally been brought up in 2017, potentially at the subdivision aspect. what you were putting forth in regards to the application that was just before, which I should just ask legal because of my position on the planning board, discussing an application, does that put me in any potential conflict?
Is it a currently active application?
Is not, the resolution was just adopted at the last meeting, so I just want to make sure.
Then you should be fine. The resolution was adopted at the last meeting. That was a public meeting. You know, so long as you're not violating anything that you may have learned through legal counsel for the planning board or anything like that.
Anything that I say is perfectly on the public record as part of the planning board hearing. So in regards to this application, that question was asked. I cannot speak to the previous application, right? So there's a contention of whether that should have been part of the previous application in regards to the subdivision, and then there's the part in regards to this particular application. This particular application that was asked, that's not what they presented. I'm not sure what else I can do. In regards to the 2017 item, I'm not sure how to really address that on a property where that side parking lot has been there since the 50s. If you look at the aerial historical graphs or photos of that property, that's been, do you have any other question? I don't want to take up.
So I know that you're saying that there were aerials and whatever. I've asked for any information that has shown that these parking spots were legal, were asked for. They are not RSIS compliant. It does not make sense to have parking and then you have to go ahead and go onto the street and go into a building. So I'm just thinking that there's something wrong here, has to be addressed. I understand that they approved it in 2017, but people make mistakes. I think that we need to look at that. That's why I'm asking the council to go ahead and overturn this and fix this mistake. Also, I gave you guys something else that I want to mention before I forget. It's called the properties that are within 2 miles within a school. There are other properties that are potentially going to have these issues. So I want to address that before an applicant comes by and nobody speaks about the sidewalks at that point. I don't think anyone really should have to talk about the sidewalks if it is a legal issue.
Thank you, Akhtar.
Council President?
Yes.
To answer, Mr. Akhtar's question here is, we have the ordinance that if the applicant needs the waiver, the planning board needs to send a resolution back to the council, and this body has an authority to approve the sidewalk waiver. We have had this situation in 2017, 2018, and in 2018 especially, we had turned down the waiver for the sidewalks. I'm surprised that after 2018, this never showed up. And last 2 years, because we always denied, we used to get that, but last 2 years I have not seen any resolution coming from planning board, or planning board is not sending any resolution to this body, but looks like they are taking the decision to waive those sidewalk, which is violation of our ordinance. So if we have specific use case, I think you must bring to the attention of this council, and we should be able to look into that.
Point of clarification, Council President, in regards to the recent application that was denied, so therefore we will not see anything here in this body. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other first-time speakers?
Council President,
Yes.
at the next meeting or a meeting at a work session, can we have Hank Bignell be here to just clarify pre-existing conditions and conditions moving forward? Did I have any questions answered?
Sonia, can we get Hank to be here Monday, that next Monday meeting? Okay, very good. Christo, rebuttal.
Thank you.
Oh,
Am I recognized?
Oh, I'm sorry, Christo, no, we need to get to you first. I'm sorry, there's another first-time speaker.
Oh, absolutely.
Be
I'm
right
sorry
back
about
with
that.
you. Okay, sir?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Good
name and
evening.
address,
Yeah,
please.
My name is Sambashava Gangula. I live in Woodborough Corners community in Edison. I applied for the zoning permit in last year, 2023 June. So zoning permit required, my home is a attached home that required my neighbor has to sign the attached home authorization. So based on the form, he is not willing to sign. Because of that, I'm unable to move forward with modifying my home, right? Modifying addition to the home, right? So I tried to reach few of you before, but it's no progress. I'm not able to. It's been last 2 months. I need help in making waiver or making amendments to the form, the attached home authorization form. Because like me, few other people also facing challenges. So just we need your help to get a resolution for this problem. Yeah, it's been faced by multiple people in the community.
So, sir, what you're asking for is something about a form?
Yeah, the form, the attached
Council
home
President, you want me to explain what he's trying to say? And because he did reach out to me
Okay.
on this, not only his case, but I think we have 3 more people who are waiting. I did speak to zoning officer. I think few months ago when you came to council meeting, and this is something we'll need help from the administration. The Woodbrook Corner community has some deed. I would say it's a common deed for the that entire neighborhood, which is a county deed. That's what I was told, and I did request a copy of that. I have not received yet, and the current process is if you want to modify or extend your house or rebuild your house, you need to take the permission from or your neighbor has to give the sign off. He needs to sign that letter, right? So it's sometimes it becomes very challenging. It's a lawsuit or reservation or the unreasonable ask by the neighbors. So the ask was very simple. Is there a way that we can change the process, saying send a notice to the resident, the neighbor? If he doesn't respond back with his reasoning not to sign that letter or have the objection needs to have some reasoning. It's not that I don't want to sign and the other neighbor would be in jeopardy, right? This is a trend in that neighborhood. Many people want to rebuild their houses, which is a great thing because that does rebuild the entire community. It's a good thing for the Edison Township. But unfortunately, because of the way that we have set the process, I don't know when that process was set. Honestly, it was not there 2 years ago. It was up to the zoning officer. He only had the reservation in terms of the look and feel, but that was addressed. But recently the process was changed and that has jeopardized the situation like yours. Right. So ask to administration is if you can work with Jim Ayer to understand what that master deed from the county is and what those restrictions are in place. And is there a way that we can modify the process of notifying the resident rather than having the person who wants to build a house to go to the neighbor and get this, that form signed, which is not a great thing to follow through.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Council President.
Yes.
Did Councilman Teal tell me, what is he trying to do?
So he wants to rebuild his house.
He wants to do an addition.
Yes, but his house is adjacent to another house. They have a common wall.
Oh, common wall, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And because of the common wall, the way the current process is, he needs to get the letter signed from the resident. And some of, like his neighbor basically, who is the next door resident, and some of those people don't cooperate.
Okay.
And that puts the project on hold. He already spent money on the architectural thing, planning things, looking at the vendors, the contractors, and now, hey, I'm waiting for just someone to sign the paperwork, like his neighbor. Whereas the zoning department is perfectly fine because he's not extending more than 500 square feet in total livable space.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilman Teal.
Any other, yes, sir?
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, this is Ajay Agrawal here from the same community, Woodbrook Corners. And
Okay,
I
your
have
name and address,
Ajay
please.
Agrawal,
Okay.
Ajay Agrawal from Woodbury Road. And I have the same concern as Councilman has said, because I am also planning to build my house, and my neighbor, I have started this process around 2 months back, but then now my neighbor is saying, aesthetics should be exactly the same, the way he built the house 30 years back and all that stuff. So things are unreasonable, and it is giving us unnecessary pressure and stress going back and forth, because the demands are totally unreasonable. So I just wanted to reiterate the same thing that we are facing, and there are a couple of more neighbors who are facing the same problem.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Christo, rebuttal.
Thank you. Am I recognized?
You're recognized. Just if you could say who you are rebutting.
I think it's very confrontational. You should just take my word for it. But I'm going to this time because I don't like the Ameren. So I'm going to rebut every single statement the Ameren made. But in the future, please don't ask me and only me to say who I'm going to
Well,
rebut.
you're the
and
only
what
one.
I'm rebutting.
You're the only one rebutting right now.
Well, because I haven't gotten there because of the past history. He said he co-hosted a show. That's what he calls a show. That's his perception. In order to have a show, people have to watch the show. And Mr. Anthony DeAmron said people don't fill up the room because, for whatever reason, he said people don't fill up the room. Could it be because they watch him, who was the former mayor's special assistant, promote for the police to throw us out, lock us up, simply? What do you shake? You shaking your head?
Council President, this is not a rebuttal.
It is.
This is not, clearly
See,
not a rebuttal.
here's the harassment because Anthony said people don't fill up the room. And I said, why would people want to come here if they're all the time being threatened by a former mayor's special assistant that they would be
He's
thrown out
directly
or get
responding
locked up?
to
Yes, he is.
statements made by Mr.
Yes,
Dameron.
absolutely.
That's the appropriate use
Thank
of
you,
the
lawyer, for
rebuttal.
educating
You've made
the
your statement,
uneducated.
but you're piloting other issues on top of
Confrontation.
it.
Stop
Councilman
my time.
Coyle, allow the speaker to speak. Thank
He's
you.
confrontational.
So, before you restart his time, I will caution you, sir, that yes, this is a proper rebuttal. Be careful not to veer into personal attacks on another speaker. No, you haven't yet. I'm just giving you the advance warning on that. At that point, you will be speaking out of turn. Okay.
Continue.
I was never going to, but another one of the mayor's people coming out to make sure I don't speak. What Councilman Coyle just did is disgusting, but I'm going to go into my rebuttal so I
Please.
don't waste time on my rebuttal, which is what
Please.
he wanted by design. He said Anthony DeAmron said it's not Edison PD's fault for the crime. All the crime that happens, their fault because they have no leader. They're too busy slandering the mayor's political opponents than going and catching real crime. DeAmron thanked the Edison PD, and I'm here to say there's nothing to thank the Edison PD for. And he can't interrupt me now because it certainly is a proper rebuttal.
Go ahead.
I will never thank the Edison PD. There's nothing they're all horrible. Every one of them. Horrible police officers. I compare them to domestic terrorists. You understand? So how much time do I have left?
33 seconds.
33 seconds. So yeah, for someone to say people don't fill up a room, could it be because people like Coyle, people like DeAmron are all the time threatening people to have them thrown out or arrested for doing their constitutionally protected activity? I think so. I think they're cowards with zero integrity. And I think the viewers that are at home, that's the reason they don't come in here. That's why they don't fill up the room when they come in here. Because of cowards like Joe Coyle and cowards like Anthony DeAmron. More people will come because thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Time is up. Any other rebuttals to previous statements? Okay. All right. Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Was that a second? Okay. Councilman Schmuel. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. This meeting is adjourned. 9:34 p.m.